Welcome to the Utopia project. We're in Michigan. It's the year January 1st, 1836. And we are starting a new series, and this is episode 1. My last series had a problem where it crashed, and the date had a glitch, and I can't rescue my save. So anyway, I have the mod called Utopia Project. And this mod has its own time travel feel, so it's going to be another time travel playthrough. Now I have this event that pops up. I'm going to read it. Securing a technological edge. Through unofficial channels, your administration gains access to an overwhelming influx of innovation. That's us. That's me and you, the viewer, coming back to tell these guys all this stuff. Though far from legitimate, this shortcut offers a glimpse into the future, one you can now shape with unfair advantage. What is progress, if not the mastery of time itself? While others debate ethics and equality, we have pierced the veil of possibility with this unprecedented surge in innovation. We leapfrog generations of slow, bureaucratic development. Let history judge us, or let there be no history. Only the brilliance of tomorrow, written in circuits and steel, not ink and parchment. Utopia is not given, it is taken. So we're going to go ahead and take Utopia for ourselves. Now I'm going to hit play. We're going to keep it on 3. And now this is a wave of innovation. All countries receive a significant bonus to innovation spread. First thing I'm doing is making the military. So we're going to take this armed forces. Let's have a charismatic guy and an arrogant guy. I'll take the charismatic traditional commander. So here's a new dawn. A new political wave has emerged in our nation. We must decide how to respond. Will we embrace the change or resist it? The future of our country hangs in the balance. Okay. So that's going to give us these options here to be either fascist, autocratic, democratic, or communist. Obviously, we're going for the communist. Communist Michigan. So now we have modern civil aviation. Rickety biplanes become sleek jets. Small planes become flying cities. Airports are turned into hubs of globally connected world. What once took days now happens in hours. Okay. We get plus 50 technological spread. Okay, so I'm going to open up the power blocks, and we're going to found our own. Let me see. I'm going to go to the journal, and I'm going to disable that. Hopefully it quits coming up. Now, we're going to go to the military. Okay. Click on irregular infantry, and I'm going to hire all my conscriptions that we can afford. So now we're ready for war. Go to the power block. I'm going to form a power block. Be called United Michigan States. So we're the United Michigan States. And I'm going to add a principal for internal trade. I'm going to form the power block. And now, when I take over enough states, I'm going to reform the United States of America. We'll get the U.S. flag up here, I hope. So now this pop-up up in the air. This decides how to use our Zeppelins. We could use them as a war machine. We could use it for trade and have more space. But I always like to pick this one, where we fill it with velvet cushions and we make our interest groups happier. So now I have those things figured out, and this pop-up is still coming. So I'm going to click on Ohio, and I'm going to declare war on Ohio right away. We're going to save the slaves. I'm going to go through my legal system. We're a monarchy, an autocracy, we're national supremacy, state atheism, hereditary bureaucrats, peasant levies. We have no home affairs. We're a traditionalist mercantile society. No taxes. We have serfs, a colonial resettlement. No police, no schools, no hospitals. We have the right to assemble, but no workers' rights. We have child labor and legal guardianship for women's rights and child rights. There's no social security. Our borders are closed. We do have slavery banned, so we're going to go through the world and free the slaves. We have a guild system in place. No environmental protections, no food protections. And the gay rights is legal silence. Alright. Now if we look at Ohio, we see that they do have 95,000 slaves that we can free. So we're going to mobilize and raise the army. Alright. So while we're waiting for that, we can check out the Michigan buildings. And I'm going to put down, the first thing is going to be a construction sector. Now the construction sector is going to take 2 weeks. We got some agitators appearing in our government. He is an anarchist agitator. Sweet. The politics is all vanilla. The laws, there's a few extra laws added in with the Utopia mod. The technologies come all the way down here for autonomous trucks, civilian drones, internet, all kind of cool things, industrial drones. All that stuff at the beginning happened pretty quick. And the conscripts have been raised, so I'm going to send them down to the border. Now since the construction sector is finished, I'm going to raise up the livestock ranches. That'll be our first building that we put down. That's going to employ the peasants off of the subsistence farms. Because if I look at the population, 96% of our population, 1.2 million people, are all peasants. They live an impoverished lifestyle. That's alright though. You can see the peasants on the subsistence farm. They make their own materials, clothes, alcohol, fabric, furniture. One thing I changed is I increased the size of the UI so that when you watch, you can see everything that's going on. Up here, we have our GDP, which is 238,000. The literacy is 1.7%. Standard of living is impoverished. There's 1.25 million people. There's 1,000 rebels, over 14,000 loyalists. And then here on the bottom row is our rank, our legitimacy, our research innovation, military, navy, the level of interest that we can claim for land, and the number of peasants, 326,000. But now the peasant number here is how many adult working. That's the adult working population, 326,000. So the rest of the 1.2 million peasants are dependents. So it's the women, the children, and the old people. So the war started with Ohio. And as soon as we take Ohio, I'm going to go for Pennsylvania. And then New York right away. The labor movement has empty pockets. So I'll say perhaps it's going to find an alternate source of funds. That way the labor movement can keep on going. Right now, really nobody wants to join. Say how many people? No. There's 52,000 absolutionists. 3.9 thousand labor movement. 500 pro-slavery. 40,000 Michigan supremacy. Well, the ranch is halfway done. It's June 3rd. It's the same year, so we started in 1836, so we're in June now. And we're about to take Ohio. Now after the livestock ranch, I do need a maize farm, so I'm going to put that. And then after the maize farm, I'll put a logging camp. The construction sector is going to demand a lot of wood. These are just vanilla construction sectors. They're owned by the government. They can't be sold to the public sector, private sector. Ohio is taken. Same thing, 98% peasants, Protestant Yankees. So we'll get to converting them to be atheists. They already have a logging camp. So now I'm going to declare an interest in New England so we can go and take Pennsylvania. It says my army has low organization. I'm going to give my army some liquor. And I'll give them fabric and liquor for first aid. Okay. I'm not sure how many weeks it's going to take for this interest to click. It says it's activated, so it'll be soon. Maybe it'll take a month. It's August right now. Okay, so now I can demand conquer state from Pennsylvania. We're going to take Pennsylvania. We're going to free their slaves. They have 96,000. Mobilize the army. Raise the conscripts. I'm gonna go to my budget, and even though I'm not collecting taxes, I can click on this very low tax button, and I can still get this plus 10 to legitimacy bonus, and I can get that negative 20% radical bonus. So I'm gonna click that. And then I'm gonna raise my government and my military wages as high as they can go. For now, the government is aristocrats. When I build a government sector, they're going to just be aristocrats. And I can grow my colonial affairs, so I'm going to do this. Well, no, I don't need to do that. There's no colonies to colonize. So I should change this to no colonial affairs sooner or later. Because there's nowhere to colonize. I have to take everything with force. Okay. So there's no need to waste the bureaucracy. But I could incorporate Ohio for 24 bureaucracy points. I'm going to do that. I'm going to incorporate Ohio into Michigan. And now I can move my army to the front line here of Pennsylvania. Once I take New York, I can build my port, and my shipyard, and my trade center. So we can start shipping our products out to the world to benefit them. And two, we can come in here and we can take different places. We'll probably come here and take East Anglia. They're full of English people. Where they at? Where does it say? Yeah. 1.1 million English. Come and take over the English. Each state starts with 1.2 million. So it's not vanilla population. And it's supposed to start in 1730. But it starts in 1836 now. And I'm pretty sure that's the reason why my last save crashed. So there's some kind of update that made the date harder to move around, I guess. But that's alright. That's fine. I'm not even worried about it. It gives me a chance to try this new mod. The mod comes with a different pop. It adds a new pop into the game. So if I click my census data, you can see it says service workers. And I haven't seen any other mods other than this one add in a service worker. Or add any pop. It's always just these vanilla pops. But so I'm interested to play around with this. Workers in urban service sectors such as hospitality, retail, and transport. They form an essential part of the service economy and represent a diverse workforce. Most support the urbanists, some petty bourgeoisie, and trade unions. And it says they can only become a service worker with sufficient literacy and wealth. Alright, so we'll see what happens when we get some of them, where they come from. So now we can attack Pennsylvania. We take that over. It's December 1st, 1836. And we started the battle. It looks like Ontario and New York are fighting each other. The same time that me and Pennsylvania are fighting. So depending on what happens here, I might have to go to war with Ontario and take New York from them. Because New York's losing. But I'm not sure who started the war over here. New York. I think New York started the war. I can't see the troops because of the fog of war. I can't see their units. So the maize farm is finished, and I'm going to put citrus orchards down. So we'll grow corn, citrus orchard, and sugar. So fruit, wheat, and sugar. Fruit, grain, sugar. Alright, we got Pennsylvania. And yeah, so Ontario did take New York. So I'm going to go ahead and conquer New York from Ontario. We're going to mobilize, raise the conscripts. We're going to add as many as we can from Pennsylvania and Ohio. And move them to the front lines. So one of the front lines is over here, right next door to Detroit, so that'll be fun. Come on back. Logging camp's gonna be 5 more weeks. Now I'm going to turn these off. They're scrolling on the side here. It says something about something. The political groups are influential. Yeah, I'm going to turn these off for none. Political group disbanded. I'm going to turn this to none. Free up some clutter. So I'm going to take this army with these 4 soldiers that I can't select. There. I'm going to split it in half. Man, that's like the worst spot to be in. Okay, split it in half, add a general. Take this ambitious guy, and we'll send him over to this other front line. Over to New York. So Pennsylvania had a logging camp, just like Ohio did. And New York has a logging camp and fishing wharves, and a trade center. So we won't have to build that stuff ourselves. So I have no construction going on here. I'm gonna build a... Yeah, so here's some of the new buildings. We have aluminum factories, chip factories, computer factories, machinery factories, oil refineries, plastic factories, software companies. Commercial enterprises. The rest of the buildings are vanilla buildings. So those are all the new buildings. Also, down here we have nuclear power plant, research institutes, renewable energy parks, and the railways are called railways. We can also have this one here called highways that we can build. And I'm going to build a government administration building. Just for fun. After the government administration building, I'm going to put down a paper mill. So now the war with Ontario has broken out. Good. I should have added a war goal to add Ontario also, but that's fine. We'll just take one state at a time for now. Even if we can take more, we'll probably take one at a time. So we can look through the buildings in each state we get, let each state kind of adapt itself into our into our system. I do wish that the financial and economy mod was part of the base game. I feel like that's a big chunk out of what I would like to see. Have the economy kind of fleshed out a little deeper, but then I guess a lot of people probably wouldn't play it. I love it. I like it a lot. That's all right. We can make do without. We don't need anything except New York, which technically does belong to us right now. It just hasn't officially been moved over. Okay, so our government administration building is done. Now it's June of 1837. We finished our first government building. And yeah. So you'll see there's aristocrats, bureaucrats, and clerks in here. Awesome. We won the war against Ontario, and we've captured New York. New York! Alright, so I don't really have to do anything right away. I am going to take our trade center here and move it down to small scale trading. And in the list, I'm going to add a port. And it's going to be a cargo port. And then I'm going to add a shipyard. And just make some wooden ships. No big deal. And I do want a construction sector here in New York, because that'll just speed everything up faster. And I'll put that on top of the list. I have a plus 1,000 balance, so the more I can push that back into the economy, the better. I don't want to hold on to too much cash. Social criticism activated. Yeah, I'm going to turn these off as well so that they don't pop up anymore. So now we have Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York. It's August 18th, 1837. It's about probably 300,000 slaves that we've freed so far, that they can go back to work as peasants on the farms on their own. Let's check out. In Ohio, we're on the subsistence farm, and see, click on it, click on workforce, click on peasants, and I can see 4.91 thousand Yankee peasants. They're unsatisfied with their job. 3% literate. Cool. Here we can see our society. It's mostly Yankee, but we have Iroquois, Dixie, and Anglo-Canadian. And I still have the mod activated where we do not convert any culture. We only convert the religions into atheism. But we leave all the cultures. So if French people move to Michigan, their pops are going to stay here unless they either die or move away. So that'll be cool. I like how the pops are. I don't want to get rid of them. I like the pop system. If I click on these peasants here, Dixie Protestant peasants, in the subsistence farm in Michigan, You can see that they earn money and they have expenses that they spend on these goods here. Here it shows what percentage of their income is spent on what goods. So the cheaper we get these goods, the more goods they can buy. And they always spend all their money. Right, and then any leftover money pushes this number 10 up to an 11. So if they don't spend money, they'll slowly grow to 11, 12, 13. You can get up to 100, or you can go down to 0. A lot of these places we conquer are going to start off as zeros. You're going to be deep in poverty. Yeah, let's see. Overview. They're impoverished. Kentucky is struggling at 9.6. Michigan is, Ohio's 9.3. Yeah, so we're still mostly impoverished. As we grow our economy, our populations will become more wealthy. Construction sector in New York has about 7 weeks left. So I'm going to declare war on Indiana. Alright, I'll take Indiana. So now I have 2 armies. So I'll just raise the first one. 26 conscripts. And as soon as one of the conscription members get here, I can move it to the front line. Alright, here we go. Now the technology, we come back and we give the people this theoretical knowledge. But we don't bring any technology with us. We still have to develop the buildings and put it through and eventually build these computer factories. The computer factories is going to consume telephones, explosive, plastic, paper, and electricity. Okay. There's a lot less items in this mod than there was in the Tech and Res. But I liked how this mod looked, and I haven't tried it out yet. This is the first time I'm using it, so I thought that'd be pretty cool to show it. And it's fun to try it. It'll be fun to try this out, I think. I don't have any patches or anything like that. It's just this one mod with a few basic other ones like the Shattered World one. Alright, so the construction sector in New York is completed. As that hires and as more construction is in demand, the price for logs and fabric is going to go up, which is going to help my logging camps employ more people to be more profitable. Same with the livestock ranches. These will be more profitable too because they sell fabric. So the landowners would like if we passed dedicated police, or I could compromise with colonial slavery. Well, I have no police, and they want me to do dedicated police. That sounds like a good idea. So dedicated police will try to enact the law. It'll go through these phases of introduction, consideration, and then adoption. So we'll follow this along and see if it passes or not. While the government debates the merits of dedicated police force, several newspapers have published articles by Greenfield Fraser trying to invoke an obscure law against it. Lawyers affiliated with the landowners pointed out that said law is invalid. So I could get a +5 enactment success chance. Let's see, modernize this alongside dedicated police force. Yeah, I'm going to modernize the legal system. Sure. Yeah, they brought it up. It's a fair point. But it's also bullshit, so let's modernize it. They're not wrong that we want to change it, but they're wrong that it doesn't need to be changed. It does. So now we need the Merchant Marines. Alright, so this is just another enactment success chance. This guy, Greenville Fraser, can get -50 popularity. He's organized a boycott against a dedicated police force. On the day it was to begin, there was barely any sight. It had been declared at all. Yeah, good. So I can spend $100 and get +5 enactment success chance, and the landowners are going to be happier. Or this guy could lose popularity, and I could get the same success chance. I'll do that. I don't want to spend no money. Infertile grounds. Finding both the Michigan public and the supposed political allies unreceived to his ideas, the frustrated Greenville Fraser has decided to retire from the realm of politics. Yeah, get rid of this guy. See you later. He's pissed that we're passing this law, and he quit. He gave up. Alright, so this guy here, Brushwiller, he's advocating for the law. And it'll give us a +15% success chance. So the Merchant Marine is going to come from the shipyard, yeah. No, the shipyard is going to build clippers that the port consumes. And the port's going to get the sell the Merchant Marine. So the intelligentsia is neutral about the dedicated police force. And I'm going to do a +15% enactment success chance. Yeah, so paper mills, then port, and then shipyard. Alright, the new law has passed. And the war with Indiana broke out at the same time. So, awesome. I can go to the institutions, and I need more bureaucracy to raise that up. And my government administration can still hire a lot of people, so we'll let that keep hiring. I'm going to push my second army down here. The more army, the better. The war will end faster. I like how there's just kind of no pop-ups, and then all of a sudden a million pop-ups at once. Only when I'm trying to say it, describe something or talk about something. So the power block, United Michigan States. We got 5 years till we can add a new principal. And right now is January of 1838. And I think that's a great place to end the episode. So here's the first 2 years of Project Utopia. It's Monday, January 25th. So I'll save the game. YouTube Season 2. Alright, I hope you had a good time. Stick around and see what happens in the next episode. And I feel really bad that Season 1 came to an end early. But I want to make it up with this one. So I'll see you around.